welcome back to Java tutorials. In this video I will talk about the inheritance concept in Java. Inheritance means inheriting the features, methods and variables from parent class to child class. The main advantage of this is reusability. We can use the same code without writing many times. The main class is called as superclass and the child class we can call as subclass. Using the inheritance concept, we can inherit only instance variables and methods but not private variables and private methods. There are 5 types of inheritances. One is single level, the second one is multi-level, hierarchy, multiple inheritance and hybrid inheritance. Anyway, Java doesn't support this multiple inheritance concept, but now let's understand one by one each other what is this inheritance with examples. Hey, welcome back to my Java tutorials. In this video I will talk about what is inheritance in Java and one example of single level inheritance. The benefit of inheritance is we can use the same code, means reusability of the code. If one class extends the other class, one class extends the other class using extends keyword, and the main class is called as super or parent class and the subclass is called as child class. So when a class extends, that child class accesses all the features of parent class like instance variables and methods, but not private methods and variables. Let's do an example. Here we have a car class. In that we have one instance variable. Let's say int n equal to 50, and we have a method. Let's say public void start method. Start method says we can start the car after filling the gas or petrol. So this is the start method. Let's also create one more method called as stop. The stop method says we can stop the car by pressing the brake. Okay, so far we created a class and we have one instance variable and 2 methods. Now let's have one more class. Let's take a manufacturer, for example Honda here. Extends car. So this is subclass, this is superclass. Now let us create one more method here. For example features. Honda has many awesome features. Now let's have main method public static void main. In that create a object for Honda class. Honda, let's say h equal to new Honda. Here we have only one method, right? But using this object we can call all the methods because here the Honda class extends the car. Let's see that. H dot start, H dot stop, H dot features. Let's save the code and run. Look, we can access all the methods. This is the instance variable, right? Let's access that one also. Let's say system.out.println access instance variable h dot n. Save the code and run. Now we can access instance variables. This is the first thing to understand. And the second part is this doesn't apply to private variables and methods, right? So let's see now. I change the instance variable into private variable. Immediately you can see the compile time error because n has a private access in car. So let's undo that one and let us also try this one as private. Have one private method here. Immediately the compiler throws the error here, so saying that it is a private method. Is it clear, right? No private methods and no private variables accessed here. The next part is single level inheritance. Single level inheritance means only one level. Here we have Honda. Honda extends to car. So we have only one superclass and one subclass. That's the reason this example called as single level inheritance. Hey guys, welcome back to Java tutorials video. In this video, I will talk about what is multi-level inheritance in Java. In our last example, we have seen what is inheritance and what is single level inheritance.
The second inheritance is multi-level inheritance. This you can see there are more levels where C extends B, B extends A. In this case, C can access A, B and C features means methods, where B can access B and A features, where A has only A features. This is called as multi-level inheritance. We can see one more real example. Car, Honda, Civic, where Civic model extends to Honda and Honda extends to car.
So first I have taken a car class here. Next I am taking Honda class. This extends car. The next level I can say class Civic model. Civic extends Honda. So here is the car. In that we have many manufacturers. Honda is one. I have taken Honda here. This extends car, and Honda produces lot of models where Civic is one. So class Civic extends Honda. This one is called as multi-level. So Civic extends Honda, Honda extends car. So we have so many levels here. That's why I'm showing this example. Let's understand further now. Let us have a method here. For example, start. You can start the car after filling petrol. Let's also have one more method here. Public void features method. System.out.println. What this method says, Honda has many awesome features. This method is also over. Let's create one more method here. Public void reliable system.out.println. Civic car is low maintenance and more reliable. So if you have an object for class, we can access only this method. The Civic extends Honda, right? So using this class object, we can access all these three methods. That is the advantage of using this extends keyword. Let's see what can we access now. Public static void main. Create an object for class. You press dot. You can see only one method, right? Got it? Now let's create object for Civic. V dot. Now you can see all these three methods: start, features, and reliable. So depends on our requirement. If you want user to access only one method, you can create object for this class. If you want to give access for two methods, you can create object for this class, like that. So here I created object for Civic class so that I can access all the methods. This one is called as multi-level inheritance. Let's save the code and run. This is the output we are getting. Hey guys, welcome back to Java tutorials video. In this video, I will talk about what is hierarchical inheritance and one practical example. So far, we have discussed what is multi-level and single-level inheritance. And now let's understand what is hierarchical. Hierarchical means two or more classes extending the same class. That is called as hierarchical.
Here B and C both extends to the same class, means Bn can have the features of A, but B is different and again C is different. This one is B plus A, this one is C plus A. We will also understand the previous example here. Car, Honda and Audi. Both manufacturers we can extend to the car class.
Let's understand further. Suppose we have a class here. Now let's say class Honda. This extends the car class. Now let's say one more manufacturer, Audi, extends car. So in my previous example we have seen this one is also extends the previous one. But here the main class is car class. Honda also extends this car class and Audi also extends this car class. So whatever is there inside car class, both Honda and Audi can access it. But whatever is there in Honda, Audi cannot access it. Whatever is there in Audi, Honda cannot access it. This is called as hierarchical. Now let's create some methods. Start method, system.out.println. Let's say we can start the car after filling the petrol. Let's create a method called as feature here. Public void features system.out.println. Honda has awesome features. Let's create updated method here saying Audi has more updated luxury features. So we have three methods here. Now let's have a main method, public static void main. In that, let's create a object for Honda class. Now let's see. We can access only two methods here. These and all like already predefined methods. In our project, we created three, right? Start, features, and updated. But here the object is for Honda class. We cannot access this one. Let's do h.start and h.features. So far it's clear, right? Let's create object for Audi class. This one also we can access two methods. One is start and one is updated. But the important thing you need to understand here is because both are extending the car class, whatever is there inside the car class we can access here. That's the reason both can access start method and their own methods. This Honda has features method, this Audi has updated method. Got it? Let's save the code and run. You can start the car after filling the petrol. And Honda has awesome features, that is for first two. Thing is again same method here, and one is updated method is this one. If you have any doubts in my tutorials, feel free to comment in my comment section. I'm more glad to help you guys.
The fourth type of inheritance is multiple inheritance, where one class is extending more than one class. In this inheritance there is lot of ambiguity. That's the reason Java doesn't support this one. Here we will see A and B classes, where this C class extends A comma B. If you use this inheritance in Java, it throws the error. But Java does support multiple interfaces. This is again we will talk while dealing with the interface concept.
Hey guys, welcome back to my Java tutorials video. In this tutorial, I'll talk about what is hybrid inheritance. So far, we have seen the examples for what is single level, multi-level and hierarchy. Now let's understand what is hybrid. Hybrid means combination of any of them like a single level, multi-level and hierarchy instead of one specific inheritance.
Now let's see A, B, D. This is multi-level. If you can see A, B, C, this is again hierarchy. So we have combination of two inheritances here. That's why this one is called as a hybrid inheritance. In our example, car class, we have Honda and Audi is again hierarchy inheritance, and we have one more called as Civic model. This extends to Honda, Honda extends to car. This one is multi-level. The same thing I am showing in a real-time example, that's it. We will see this coding example in the tutorial as well.
Suppose we have car class here, Honda extends car here. This is a single level inheritance, and class Civic extends Honda. This one is multi-level inheritance, right? Suppose we have class Audi extends car. If you don't have this one, these three called as multi-level. Suppose if you don't have this one, these three called as hierarchy. If you don't have these two called as single level. Depends on our requirement, we can give the access to any of the classes using this hybrid inheritance. Whatever is there inside the car class, this Honda and Audi can access it because this extends the car class. So let's create instance variable here instead of methods just for a change. Int c equal to 50. This one int h equal to 100. This is, let's say, cc. Int cc equal to 150. Int, let's say, a equals to 200. First, let's have a main method, public static void main, that create a object for civic class first. Civic dot, look, we can access these three, C, CC and H. We can access CC, we can access H. So in this, we cannot access this Audi variable except this one. We can access these three variables, right? That is the main advantage of creating and having these many inheritances. You can also give access to some other methods instead of creating again. These and all advantages of having inheritance. We also have one disadvantage, that is the dependency, because one class is depends on the other class. So if you want to access those class objects, again you have to create one object and access them. That is the only disadvantage here. If you run the code, pretty much you can access these three variables. Hey guys, welcome back to Java tutorials video. In this video I will talk about what is method overloading. This one is also called as runtime polymorphism. And the second thing is difference between method overloading and method overriding. So far in my previous videos, I have gone through the inheritance concepts, what is inheritance and types of inheritance, what is parent class and subclass, right? Today video also continuation to that topic. For that I created a car class. After that, let's have a method feature. It prints a message, car has some awesome features. Now let's have one more class, class Audi extends car. So the Audi class is extending car class here. Let's have a same method here, public void features. This method says Audi has some more awesome features. Just to have a difference, little bit difference. Now let's have main method, public static void main, that create a object for Audi class. Let's call features method. Immediately we got a question because using this object we can access these two methods, right? First one is for car and second one is for Audi. But when you access this feature, which one it prints? Let's save the code and run. You'll see it in a minute. Look, Audi has some awesome features. So it is printing Audi method instead of car method. This concept is called as method overriding. So superclass method is overriding with subclass. Now onwards there is no superclass method because that one is overridden. This concept is very useful in real time because the features are changing and there is so much updation for the methods, right? In that case we don't want the old methods. So when you create the new methods, that old methods will be override with the new methods. I know this one is a little tricky but not that much for sure. When you create the same method again, the old one will be updated or old one will be replaced with a new one. That's it. And lot of people confuse with the method overloading and method overriding concept. So what is method overloading? We have already seen a lot of examples, but in this tutorial I just want to make a quick example. Look, if you create the same method again, it immediately throws the error. In this case, you can create the same methods, but the difference is number of arguments or type of arguments. That concept is called as method overloading. There is no overwriting concept. That's the reason it has some condition. Either a number of arguments or type of arguments should be different. Then only it accepts the method. Otherwise, it immediately throws the compile time error. If you want to practice or if you want to understand more about the topic, check my previous videos. I will also giving the link in the description box. Please go ahead and read. Hey guys, welcome back to Java tutorials video. In this tutorial, I'll talk about what is super and final keywords and how to use these access modifiers in polymorphism concept. So this one is example for method overriding concept, which I already discussed in my previous tutorial. First, I created a class. In that, I have the method called as feature. The next step is I created one more class, Audi class. This class extends to the car class. In that also I have the same method, features method. And in main method, I created an object. So far it's clear, right? If you have still doubts in this program, please go ahead and watch my previous tutorial, or if you are fine, you can continue this one. So here we have two methods, the same methods. The superclass method is override with subclass. When you call this one, it's showing already has some awesome features. So what does that mean? We can access only the subclass features, not the superclass one. But there are some situations you don't want to override the feature here. You just want to have the same one as it is. In that case, you will use super keyword. Syntax is super dot method name. That's it. If you save the code and run, you can have the parent class method. We will also have one more option similar to this using final keyword. If you say final here, then this method is like final. No one can replace or no one can override again. Look, we will see immediately error here saying that features cannot override. So these are all some options and usage of super and final keywords. This is all about today's tutorial, guys. Hey guys, welcome back to Java tutorials video. In today's topic, I will talk about what is upcasting and downcasting concept. This is related to method overloading concept in inheritance. We already seen typecasting, right? Typecasting is for data types. Similar to that, in related to object, we also have upcasting and downcasting concepts. Upcasting means a child object to a parent object, that is fine, whereas downcasting means parent object to a child object. This is very confusing, right? I know. Let's go and understand one example so that you will be very clear what I am talking. This is inheritance concept where you have a class and method, and we have one more class that extends to the previous class, means this is superclass, this is subclass. This is one basic coding example which I was talking from previous videos. I just want to use the same example for today's topic also. So this topic is related to object creation, right? If you want to create a object for car, you can do it. Is that correct? Using that, you can access the method of car class. Let's change the method name here so that you'll see like what are the things we can do while calling. C plus, we can access only one method here. So far it's clear, right? This one is object creation for car class. Next thing is object creation for Audi class. Audi A equals to new Audi open and closing parenthesis and semicolon. Using this object, look, we can call two methods. First one is parent method and next one is child method. So this one is also clear because we were discussing these topics since last 5-6 videos I guess. So I hope this one is also clear for you guys. Look, this is for first object and these two one for second object. Now let's talk about what is upcasting. Upcasting means car is equals to new OD open and closing parenthesis and semicolon. So here the child object to a parent class. This one is fine. Using this again we can call only one method, but here we are doing OD object for the core class. This is possible in Java, and whereas if you see downcasting, it is exactly opposite to this, creating parent class object for the child class. This one is showing compile time error, where this is not possible. Downcasting is not possible here. In this case, what you can do, you have to explicit calling. Now let's look what this explicit calling means. Let's keep the same thing here so that see the difference. Audi AA equals to Audi C. What is this C here? Instead of creating one more object, we are taking this C object reference here and assigning here. That's it. So using this, you can call two methods, which is similar to the second one here, right? The benefit of doing this one is similar to object creation earlier, but you have to understand the technical part behind that, the different ways of creating objects. And this is a good example to understand creation of objects and how we can deal with upcasting and downcasting. I hope you understand today's concept. Hey guys, welcome back to my Java tutorials. In this video, let's discuss about final keyword and the effect of that in Java programming. The first thing we need to understand, the word final means it's final. We cannot change that in future. That may be final variable, final method and final class. These final method and final class we will understand more once you know about inheritance concept. That's the reason I am covering this concept immediately after the inheritance. Let us talk one by one how it works and the implementation of that. The first example here we are seeing about the final variable means the variable is final. For example, int a is 10. This is the integer data type variable. If you want to make that one as final, you have to add this final keyword. As I said earlier, using this final concept or final keyword, we cannot override the value. Let me quickly write a coding example so that you will understand more better. Let's take one variable int x equal to 20 and access that one. Value of x. Let's execute the code. So we see the value 20, right? If you want to change that value as 100, let's say x equal to 100 and execute the code again. Now you can see the value 100. What we are doing here, we just simply change the value from 20 to 100, right? Let's add the final keyword, final int x equal to 20. Immediately the compiler throws error saying that cannot assign a value to a final variable because the value is already final, so you cannot change the value. So this is the meaning of final variable. And our next topic is final method. We can also declare our method as final. This is the syntax of that public void method. This is the method name, and if you want that method as final, you need to add this final keyword. If you want to change the method, that concept is called as method override. That one we already seen in the inheritance concept. When you declare that method as final, we cannot override the method. final method. Public void method 1. This is the first method. So what we have in this class, we have a method 1. Let's also have one more class. Class main check. Public void method 1. This is the latest one. Here we are extending the main class using extends keyword. And now let's call those methods for better understanding. Public static void main. For time being, say this one as method 2. Main check object equal to new main check obj dot method 1 obj dot method. I'm simply calling those two methods here. Other than that, nothing else I'm doing. This is the first method and second method. So let's come into our topic. Is about the final method. Here we have two methods with a different name, but let's have the same names. Change the method 2 as method 1. So we have two methods with the same name so far. Immediately the compiler throws the error here because we don't have method 2 anymore. Now if you execute the code, what will return now? Because here we are created object for a main check, but main check also extends to the main. Now the question is, this one or this one, which one will execute? Obviously this one, right? Because in inheritance concept, if you have the same methods, that old method is override with the new method. Check here, this is the latest one. This is the concept of method override. So what we are doing now, we are making the method as final. Public final void method 1. When you make the method as final, immediately the compiler throws the error because that method is already final. You cannot override that method. We don't have any option here. We just have to take off that method. So in this case, again, the old one is going to be executed. This is the first method. That's how the final method works here. Now let's move on to our last topic, final class. This is also similar to our previous examples. Even though the implementation part is similar, but you need to understand the logic behind that. What if a class is final? In that case, we cannot inherit the parent class. If the class is not final, we can inherit that class using extends keyword. But if the class is final, we cannot inherit that class anymore. That is the concept about a final class. The syntax is like this: public class main. If you want to make the class as final, we have to declare the final keyword right here. Anyway, let's see that example also for better understanding. Final class. Here you are looking that we are accessing parent class and child class objects, right? So this is possible only using inheritance concept. Suppose if you don't know inheritance concept, watching this video is not at all useful for you. That's why I highly recommend go back and watch inheritance concept first. Let's go back to the example. If you make this class as final, let's see what are the changes we will see now. Please observe carefully. You cannot inherit this class because the class is final. This is the concept of final with class. So if you want to inherit the class, you have to take up that final keyword. Then only you can inherit the parent class. This is all about today's video. I hope you learned the concept about final, final with variable, final with method, and final with class. See you in my next video. Stay tuned and happy learning.